Alright, what's going on, guys? This past week has been insane as a FromSoftware fan with the release of Armored Core 6, which has been some of the most fun I've ever had in a FromSoft game. But aside from getting an amazing game to play, the release of Armored Core 6 also means something else, that the focus has now shifted, and we look forward to Elden Ring DLC, which is the next major release for FromSoftware. Now don't worry, we still have a lot of content to cover for AC6. I'm going to be diving heavy into the lore going forward. And the first video I have planned is a lore video about handler Walter, whose story is absolutely awesome. But what I want to do today is analyze the situation around Elden Ring DLC in the months to come, talk about how the release of Armored Core 6 affects that and what the plans might be going forward, and give you my predictions about when we're going to see it. So as we get into that today, if you want to stay up to date on all things FromSoftware, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and now let's get into it. To begin our discussion today, I think it's best if we start with a bit of context. Now we've covered most of this before in other videos, so I'll keep it very brief, but the reason we know that Elden Ring DLC is the main focus after Armored Core's release is because it was leaked a while ago and corroborated by multiple sources, and by this point that is all but officially confirmed. And we also have quotes from Yasuhiro Kitao, the marketing manager at FromSoftware, that the company is looking to have less time between their releases going forward. And this is also reinforced by Kadokawa, the parent company of FromSoftware, consistently highlighting Elden Ring DLC in their investors reports, even ahead of Armored Core. But even just using base logic, now that Armored Core 6 has been released, Shadow of the Erdtree is the only officially announced project that we're still waiting on and haven't currently got our hands on. So I'm sure none of that is news to anyone, but I just wanted to bring it up to have a little bit of context and framing about what we're about to discuss. And since we are coming up on the holiday season, which is the heaviest point for any company's marketing, we have a few questions we need to consider. Firstly, how much does FromSoftware plan to keep marketing AC6 post-release, and will that push back the release of Elden Ring DLC? Number 2, do they even plan to market Elden Ring DLC? And number 3, if so, what would be the best time to show it? To address the first question, I have a few things I want to talk about. Firstly, Armored Core 6 has had an amazing reception, getting a ton of accolades and overwhelmingly positive reviews, which is to be expected of FromSoftware, as their name is now an industry standard of quality. Now, of course, the game isn't having the same success that Elden Ring did, as it is more of a niche genre, but personally, I think it's one of the top 5 best games they've ever made. So does all this success mean that they're gonna market the game more and perhaps push Elden Ring DLC back in order to capitalize? In an interview with GamesIndustry.biz, the CEO of Bandai Namco Europe had this to say: "This is a big step up in this franchise. We're not going to be able to match Elden Ring numbers, but we will way surpass what previous Armored Core games have done." He added, "We have a great game on our hands. The gameplay, the battle system is very loyal to what FromSoftware fans are used to, so we really want to take this IP further in the relationship with FromSoftware. My expectation is that people who have discovered their games via Elden Ring will enjoy Armored Core." So that appears to suggest that they have future plans for this game, and it may not just be a one-off title after a decade of the series being on break. But whether that comes in the form of Armored Core 7, or perhaps a DLC for Armored Core 6, we don't know. But what we do know is that Armored Core 6 had the second largest launch in FromSoftware history, trailing only behind Elden Ring, and having the 4th highest consecutive player count of 2023 on Steam. So I really don't think that FromSoftware is abandoning this game right after launch, and immediately dropping Shadow of the Erdtree. What sounds much more likely to me is a strong marketing push for the next month or two, so that they don't steal the game's shine, which Shadow of the Erdtree probably would. But with all that being said, we do have to raise the question of, do they even care to market Shadow of the Erdtree? You see, FromSoftware has a history of shadow dropping their DLCs. They've done it many times in the past with virtually no announcement or marketing of any kind, but they haven't had a DLC for a game since Dark Souls 3, which was announced at release with a season pass, and we know from inside sources that was supposed to be the plan for Elden Ring as well. However, due to unknown events, the DLCs were combined and pushed back until after Armored Core, so it's safe to say Shadow of the Erdtree is a bit of an exception. After all, it'll be close to 2 years, if not longer, from the game's release until we get the DLC, and the only official information we've gotten about it was a tweet announcing that it was in development. Completely unprecedented situation for FromSoftware, so I don't think it's out of the question that they could randomly drop the DLC anytime in the future. But all signs point to this being more than just a DLC. I made a video a few weeks ago talking about how Elden Ring DLC has to be huge, and I won't rehash the same points we talked about then, but it really is shaping up to be an absolutely massive expansion, virtually an Elden Ring 1.5 or Elden Ring 2. And if that is the case, I wouldn't be surprised if they did a bit of a marketing campaign for this, treating it like another game entirely. And that's where Armored Core comes into play, because I highly doubt they would do any promotion for DLC until at least late September to allow Armored Core to stand in the sunshine for a bit. And regardless of which route they choose to take, I doubt we'll hear anything until at least then. But the end of September does have an interesting opportunity, and that is Tokyo Game Show. One of the biggest opportunities of the year to showcase upcoming games, and we do have confirmation that Bandai Namco will be in attendance. However, here's where things get a little bit uncertain. Bandai actually released a full list of what they're going to be showcasing, and surprisingly or unsurprisingly, Elden Ring DLC was not on that list, at least for the physical showcase. But their online showcase has whatever they're opening with marked with question marks and labeled coming soon. Now, what are the chances that's Elden Ring DLC? Personally, I think it's pretty slim. Usually when Bandai has these showcases, they don't include FromSoftware games within their other games, because they tend to just completely blow everything else out of the water. And Elden Ring DLC would absolutely steal the show from anything else that's showcased. But if I don't think it's at Tokyo Game Show, I'm not saying it couldn't be shown in September. We also made a video a few weeks ago talking about how some internal Elden Ring data points to a September trailer and a November release, with the PC files of Elden Ring being changed in a way that typically happens a few months before the DLC drops, with what appears to be a change in the rating release section, possibly suggesting that something with Elden Ring is out for rating. And the only real option there is the DLC. But that's some very out there speculation, and we really don't have any hard evidence for that. If you want to go the safe route, and you think Elden Ring DLC could possibly wait until next year, then the Game Awards are probably your best bet, and they'll be happening on December 7th this year. FromSoftware has a long history at the Game Awards. Elden Ring was shown there, Armored Core was shown there, and if we're not already playing the DLC by December 7th, then it will almost definitely be showcased on that stage. Armored Core 6 is likely to be nominated for a few awards, if not Game of the Year, so Miyazaki and the team will likely be in attendance. But personally, I think we'll probably get the DLC before then. I have a few people that are claiming to be insiders telling me that November is the release, although personally I haven't seen any confirmation of that. But hey, if you believe in the Spellbound leaks, then they're claiming that'll be what's at the Game Awards and not Elden Ring DLC, so that'll be interesting. But regardless, the next few months will be incredibly fun, should have a ton of news coming out, perhaps a lot of leaks, but the main point of all of this is that everything should be focused on Elden Ring DLC going forward. And of course, I'll be doing my best here on the channel to keep you up to date on all of that, but I wanted to make this video today because we are going through this big shift, and it's going to be cool to see how Armored Core 6 affects that going forward. But anyways though guys, that's going to pretty much do it for the video today. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Now that we've crossed this bump on the timeline, how much longer do you think we're gonna have to wait? But be sure to leave a like on the video if you did enjoy it, and subscribe if you're new around here. Lots of Armored Core content coming up soon, and with all that, I will catch you in the next one.